In an adult, the biological structure of the eye is largely static, but during the first 36 months of life, the visual system undergoes a period of rapid physical expansion and neurological refinement. For adult patients, correcting a refractive error is a calculation of physics. The goal is to bend incoming light to maximize immediate visual acuity, usually aiming for 20/20. Pediatric care operates on a different logic. Every lens prescribed for a child is an intervention in an active developmental process, requiring a constant balance between optical clarity and biological growth. This creates a clinical paradox. The exact same dioptric measurement requires entirely different treatments depending strictly on the child's age in months. Success in pediatric prescribing is defined by managing long-term developmental risk rather than achieving a specific acuity score during the initial exam. These guidelines form the pediatric prescribing matrix. It maps developmental age brackets against the primary refractive conditions: myopia, hyperopia, astigmatism, and anisometropia. Across every condition, the dioptic thresholds for clinical intervention drop as the child grows older. The criteria for prescribing become more aggressive with age. These shifting thresholds represent a balance between three competing biological pressures: the drive for emmetropization, the risk of amblyopia, and the requirements of cognitive development. To apply this model effectively, we must examine the specific literature that defines each of these three forces. In the first 2 years of life, intervention thresholds for hyperopia are exceptionally high. It's common practice to leave 5 or 6 diopters uncorrected in an infant. During this early phase, the primary objective is to protect the physiological drive for natural emmetropization. Emmetropization is the process where the eye grows to reduce its own refractive error. Prescribing full-plus lenses too early removes the hyperopic defocus signal, which the eye requires to stimulate axial elongation and reach its proper size. This chart, based on Zhang and colleagues, shows a 3-month-old with 4 diopters of hyperopia has a 70% chance of naturally normalizing by 18 months. However, if the infant presents with 6 diopters, that probability drops to only 30. This chart shows the relationship between patient age and amblyopia development. For uncorrected anisometropes, amblyopia prevalence increases from 14% at age 1 to 60% by age 3. The depth also worsens, with severe acuity decreases reaching 14% by age 5. This occurs because of neuroplasticity. When the brain receives asymmetrical optical inputs, it adapts by suppressing the blurred image to maintain a single focus. If these asymmetrical inputs are not corrected during this critical window, the brain hardwires this suppression, resulting in a permanent neurological deficit. By age 3, the priority shifts from allowing eye growth to actively preventing the onset of irreversible amblyopia. As children reach preschool and school age, moderate symmetrical hyperopia creates a different set of developmental challenges. Uncorrected hyperopia in this group is a source of chronic accommodative strain, forcing the ciliary muscles to flex constantly to maintain focus for near tasks. This chart from the Roche-Levesque study compares emmetropic controls with uncorrected emmetropes. Initially, the uncorrected group scored significantly lower in visual motor and intelligence scales. However, 6 weeks after optical correction, their scores rose sharply, effectively matching the control group. Studies by Narayanasamy and Garcia on near-point stress further clarify this cognitive penalty. Children with simulated hyperopia showed degraded psycholinguistic processing and significantly slower reading speeds, with performance worsening after sustained near work. There is no equivalent causative link between myopic refractive error and poor early reading attainment. The cognitive penalty is specific to the accommodative demand of hyperopia. Hyperopia thresholds drop to 3.5 diopters by age 3 to protect the child's developing learning capacity and visual motor integration from this physiological strain. Applying these guidelines requires 2 distinct prescribing strategies, which are detailed in the final column of the matrix. Standard myopia and astigmatism receive full correction. However, for most cases of hyperopia, the prescription is partial, often reduced by up to 50%. Myopia and astigmatism are corrected fully because undercorrection ensures blur without providing any emmetropization benefit. For standard hyperopia, the clinician intentionally undercorrects. This provides enough clarity to prevent amblyopia while leaving a residual defocus signal to encourage continued eye growth. This partial correction rule is overridden if the patient presents with accommodative esotropia. If an inward eye turn is diagnosed, the goal of emmetropization is set aside. The clinician prescribes the maximum tolerable plus correction to force binocular alignment. The final prescription is determined by the specific clinical goal, stimulating growth, resolving blur, or maintaining ocular alignment. This chart highlights the gap between common clinical prescribing habits and academic guidelines. While many clinicians intervene early, the literature suggests that wait and see is often effective until visual acuity or stereovision is compromised. This clinical prescribing matrix provides a precise and necessary map for successfully navigating the closing window of infant visual neuroplasticity. Intervening at these specific thresholds ensures that the visual system develops the necessary foundations for binocularity and cognitive function. By tailoring the optical environment during these critical early years, clinicians provide the necessary physiological conditions for a child's visual and neurological development to reach its full potential.